Hello everybody, welcome to another tutorial video. This one's going to be about some basic mission editor stuff, how to make some simple missions. It can get pretty complicated. I'll try to do some of the more detailed stuff. I might make a separate video on things like all the triggers and stuff like that. And there's a lot more that I don't really understand, and it can get into scripting, which I don't know how to do. But for basics, just the built-in mission editor stuff. That's what this video is going to be about. So first thing I want to do in the lobby page here, you want to just go to mission editor, create new mission, pick whichever map. There's presets, so you can do modern presets, Cold War, World War II. We'll just do modern here. Syria map, you can also just customize them by just click on whichever country here and either click red coalition or blue coalition or set them back to neutral. So we're just going to do the default modern presets. Load this up here on the Syria map. This is going to be my little plan for this quick mission is going to be an F-15 Strike Eagle mission to take out a runway. And we'll have some Syrian aircraft to scramble and maybe try and intercept us. We'll add in tank or AWACS, stuff like that. So first of all, I'm going to come down here to H3. First, I'm going to make some of these airfields be, you can change the coalitions that they're at, so, or that they're a part of rather, so that they can resupply you on the ground, so you can rearm, refuel, etc. So you just click on them, set blue or red, so we'll set these all to blue, like so. And we'll do this one too, because that's used by U.S. Special Forces. So we'll come down here. We'll start at H3, that airbase, which is not technically used anymore, I don't think, here in Western Iraq, but I'm using it anyway. So we'll just put our Strike Eagle down right here. So to do that, I should say first, all of your aircraft, helicopters, ship, ground vehicles, static objects, things like that. Static objects, by the way, they're not actual units, so they're just kind of there as a visual, but you can destroy them. So we'll come over here, click on our airplane group, click on this where it says type, scroll down this drop-down menu, find the aircraft you want. So this will be the F-15E. Then just click wherever you want to put it. It starts off, the default is in the air. If you click down here where it says type in this drop down menu, turning point, and type a waypoint just where it's going to turn, flyover point, it'll just fly over it. Take off from runway, so you'll be on the runway, hot start with the engines running. Take off from ramp, which is what we're going to do here. You can change the parking spot that it's on, so it'll be in a parking space, and it will be with cold and dark. Takeoff and parking, I don't actually remember what the difference is for that. Oh, takeoff and parking hot, sorry, I didn't read that. So that'll put you in a spot in a parking spot, but you'll have engines on, and landing, you'll be set up for landing. So we're just going to do takeoff from ramp here. I'll move it over to here. You can change this parking spot drop down. They're all numbered, as you can see. Skill, click on this. If you're doing multiplayer, set it to client. So then when you open, if you go on a multiplayer server and you see all the options for the aircraft and you select them, that's what that's for. This is just going to be a single player mission. So we'll set it to player. So there won't be any choosing of the slot. You're just going to be in the cockpit as soon as you load in. If we click on this here, the next one over, it says payload. You can click on this drop down menu next to paint scheme and find our whatever livery we want to do. I'll do this one, Outlaw, because it has Yosemite Sam on that, and I think it's kind of funny. We'll change our tail number to be 490 like it is on that actual aircraft. We can change our call sign here, so that's any time that you are using the radios, it'll say whatever. So we'll just go with Colt 11, it'll say that. And we could set up our loadout now. We'll do AMRAAMs, AIM-120Cs on these outermost pylons, drop tanks on the wings, and AIM-9Ms on the inner wing pylons, like so. I'm going to remove this centerline pylon because we don't really need that. We can put our night vision lantern nav pod and our lantern targeting pod on those spots. Right conformal fuel tank, we're going to go with, let's see. We have those runway destroying bombs. Where are they? Nope, not those. I can't remember what they're called. Oh, BLU 107. So we'll go with those. And basically the way that these work, they're designed specifically for destroying runways. So you fly low over the runway, drop all of those, and there's a parachute that comes out of them, and then when they get to a certain angle, I don't remember exactly what the angle is off the top of my head, maybe 45 degrees or something, I forget. There's a rocket booster in it that will ignite and send it hard into the ground so it penetrates the concrete on the runway, and then there's another explosion that will create a large crater in the runway so that you can put it out of action. So we'll just take 12 of these, and that's pretty much it for our loadout. I will add a wingman. So if we come up to unit here, we have 1 of 1. We'll just change that to 1 of 2. And this is 336 squadron, so we'll just change it to we'll just do that 501, and we have the same loaded on that. It can be a little bit tricky to use the AI wingmen. You have to be on the right frequency, and then when you open your radio menu, there'll be a lot of different options for what you can do with it, and just changing formations and to attack targets and stuff like that. So we'll come in here and add some waypoints to start. We'll add one right over here. I like to set them to 0 on the ground, so if you slave your targeting pod to that waypoint, it won't be looking in the air, it'll be looking at a spot on the ground. So we'll do that, and then this is going to be the runway that we're going to attack on Nasiriyah. So we'll do 0 here. Actually, no, I won't. Because what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it up over here. And then I'm going to do another thing that is going to be add a task. So you can click edit for advanced waypoint options, or add rather. And we have no task as the default thing. You can go to type perform task, action, bombing. We are going to, oops, let me edit this. Put that right in the middle here. We'll set this to red. Go back over here. Edit this again. Weapon, auto, because we're only going to have one kind of thing. One attack. Let's see. I'm trying to think of. This direction. Altitude above. Yeah, we'll just do that. It can be a little bit tricky, like I said, to try to get them to do exactly what you want. Hopefully, this will actually work for the mission. It should. I believe if you tell them in the radio menu to attack, target, and then rejoin or whatever, they'll do that. So go here. We'll set this as another waypoint, so we can just have this be our divert field. And then come over here and just change this to landing, or land, refuel, rearm. If you're going to be continuing, but we're just going to be landing for this, or for this hypothetical mission. And it'll put the waypoint right in the middle of the runway. Next thing, we'll add in a tanker. So we want to come back to our add or modify airplane group. Do this again. For the Air Force tankers, you have to use the KC-135. It's the only one we have that has the boom. KC-130 is the C-130 tanker variant, so it has the drogues. If you're flying a Hornet or a Tomcat or something like that, that has the probe on it, then you can refuel from that. Or the KC-135 MPRS, also same thing. It does have the boom modeled, but in this game it doesn't work. It's just for, you can only use the drugs with it. So for our F-15, we're gonna have the KC-135. We'll have it set up here. We'll go set this up at 25,000 feet, about 375 knots. That's true airspeed, by the way. I think. So we're gonna come here, click add, perform task orbit, at same airspeed, because just you got to be careful because it defaults it to being way slower, so it'll be like stalling when you're doing that, and you don't want that. And for pattern, we can just have it going in a circle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add another waypoint a few miles away here. Oops. And we'll just kind of spread this out like this. We got a 20-mile orbit approximately. And then we want to change this to racetrack, so it'll have those the straight lines, and then it'll turn at the end. So it's just a little bit easier to do, and that's probably more typical of what's done in real life. Sometimes it'll just orbit in a circle, but not always. Usually not. I don't think this one has any levers. Nope, just US Air Force standard. Next thing we can do is add an AWACS. So once again, we're gonna come over here, click on the add or modify airplane group. Change the type to, scroll up here, find the E3, which is the E3 AWACS, and you can also do the E2 Hawkeye. We're going to do this one, and we'll just keep it, we'll set it to the US Air Force one. And set this to 30,000 feet or so, 400 knots, I guess. Doesn't matter too much. And we'll have this be in a bit of an orbit here. Same thing, add task, orbit, racetrack, set your airspeed. You can change the call sign. Again, we're going to leave it at Overlord, but we will change the frequency to 250, just because you can change the frequency to whatever. You just should want to write that down in the mission briefing, either in the blue task or situation, wherever, just so when you open the briefing menu in game, in the pause menu, you can look at what your frequency is so you don't forget. One thing I forgot to do over here actually is set TACAN. So we'll leave this at Texaco, leave it at 243 megahertz, that's fine. You want to click on activate TACAN, which is up there by default. Click edit. We'll set the channel to 4.3. I like to make it be in sync with the frequency. You don't have to, you can make it be whatever. The channel, we'll have it on X. That's typically what I do. We'll change the call sign to just text. And you want to link it to unit aerial 2. I like to change the name of these so we don't get confused. So Texaco 1, and we'll change the pilot name to Texaco 1. Oops, I have my Norwegian keyboard up. Oops, 1 second. There we go, Texaco 1-1. So now you can set the TACAN in your aircraft, and you can now easily navigate to it. All right, next, what we're going to do is we're going to have a couple of Migs scramble from Palmyra to intercept us. So we can put them over here. Click add or modify. I said that wrong every single time I tried to say modify. Modify airplane group. Scroll down, we'll find Syria, and we'll select our, where is it? Mig 29A. Put one here, same thing, take off from ramp. And probably, yeah, we'll do 2 of these. So we got lead and the wingman. And we'll just go with this loadout. First default one, you can customize them, but this is probably pretty typical anyway. So we'll go with that one. Drop tank. Same thing for you. I like to set them when I'm doing this to random, because it's, you just don't know exactly what you're getting to, either random or trained, but you can set it to whatever. Obviously rookie is going to be the easiest, or the pilots are going to be the least skilled, and ace, they're going to be the best. We'll just set it to random. And we'll just change this to Syrian Mig flight, and do 2. And you know what, we'll do this. So we'll set these to late activation so they won't be there immediately. If you don't do that, then they're gonna just be they'll just immediately, as soon as the mission starts, starting up and taking off. I'm gonna set it so that once we cross over the border into Syria, then they'll scramble, or shortly before that. So we'll come over to this side menu, scroll down to this one. It says create trigger zone. This will just be, let's call it Mig Scramble. Change the color to red. I typically do that for the hostile ones. Keep making this bigger. Whoa, it's too big. Yeah, that's probably good. And yeah, we'll put it about here. So once we get inside this zone, they're going to start to scramble because they can see we're starting to come towards the border there. So to create a trigger for that, we'll come over to this menu under where it says MIS or mission. Set rules for trigger. New one. We're just going to leave this on once. No event. I'll name it though. Mig Scramble 1. And we'll set this to red just to color coordinate it. Conditions. Olive group in zone. Aerial 1, which is what we are, inside the zone Mig Scramble. We will come down and group activate, and then Syrian Mig flight. So once we take off and once we get inside this zone here, these MiGs that are deactivated initially, they won't appear on the map, that you won't be able to see them or anything. They'll appear, they'll starting their engines, and then they'll taxi over here and start to scramble, start to take off and intercept us. We'll give them some waypoints, so we'll have them come over here. We'll set this to intercept. We'll give them a waypoint over here at like, what, 20,000 feet and 430 knots or so. And then they could come over here and then start maybe orbiting, I guess. We can just do that. Racetrack again, 430 knots. And they should, because we have them, their default thing is weapons free. What you can do is you can set them to attack a group. So we'll just do that, I guess. And we'll set it to aerial 1, which is us. And we'll just kind of leave the default. Another thing you can do, if you go to set option, you can set the rules of engagement. So only certain targets that you designate them, they'll attack. They won't attack anyone else. Priority designated, I don't really know what that is actually. I think so. That's if you designate multiple targets in the mission editor for them to go for. They'll only go for the one that's the biggest priority for them. Return fire, obviously only if you shoot them, they'll shoot back, and weapon hold, they won't do anything. So we'll just leave it as is. What I will do is set these to, where is it? Perform option. We'll set them to immortal, and so they can't be destroyed. We'll set them to invisible. What invisible does, it doesn't make them literally invisible. It doesn't make them invisible on radar or any sensors to players, but it does make them invisible to any other aircraft that are like AI aircraft. So these MiGs are not going to be able to see this tanker or the and they're not going to be able to see the AWACS over here, so they're not going to engage them, which is what we want, because it's annoying when they do that, and maybe not entirely accurate, but who cares? It's for the sake of the mission, it's easier if they're not going to get attacked, and hopefully we're going to be shooting down these MiGs first anyway. Trying to think of anything else to add. We'll come over here and we'll just add a couple of trucks over here. Why not? Syria, we'll add a couple APCs, but I'm on road. We'll add like 3 of these guys, 4 of them, and we'll just have them driving to like, I don't know, here. So they'll drive along there. We'll put a SAM site here, I guess. Why not? So we can come to create modify templates. I like to do this. I don't think Syria has any by default. Oh, it does. Okay, SA2. So we'll add in. Yeah, we'll add an SA2. Not right there, but maybe right there. We'll just set this to red. So we might get engaged by them if you fly over there. You'll definitely get spiked by them beforehand. But, oh, one last thing that I'm going to do before ending this is I'm going to set weather conditions. So you click on this little cloud and little clock icon here. We'll do high scattered. There's a lot of conditions you can play with these. You can also make your own custom ones by adjusting a lot of these values. You can do nothing, I think, and you can customize a lot more of the clouds, but we'll just go with the preset. That's what I typically do. Wind direction, we'll set this so we have yeah, something like that, I suppose. I'll give that a few knots. Another one here and up here. Yeah, all right. All right, I think that pretty much covers it for a lot of the basic stuff. Only thing I didn't go over is ships. I'm not going to do that, but you add them the same way that you add other stuff, except you're using the ship group, and you just put them down and then set them waypoints, stuff like that. I'm not going to fly this mission right now, but I know that it should work because of experience. And this is just kind of a basic, kind of overview of how to do some of the most basic stuff: tankers, AWACS, waypoints, things that I put down in every single mission that I do. And the more you practice it, the better you'll get at it. You can make missions complicated or as simple as you want. I just like making the missions, to be honest. Like, I'll make missions a lot of time and spend a bunch of time on it, and I'll play it like once, just because I find it fun, just to add in all the stuff and to come up with ideas and maybe research loadouts and for the time periods and liveries. And if I do carrier ops, then getting like an accurate air wing that's on the carrier at that time and that date and that location. So I maybe go a little overboard with it, but I find it fun. So anyway, I hope you found this video helpful, informative, useful. I hope you have fun making your own missions, playing your own missions. It's definitely, I think, can add a bit more to the game when you're able to be a little more creative with what you want to do and make something that's like just what you want to do, instead of maybe trying to look through and sift through all kinds of other missions other people have made. They make great missions, but it's, like I said, I find it fun to just do it. But anyway, you have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video.